Hello and welcome to another episode of your weekly comic reviews. I'm your host Ian Yoxon, otherwise known as the Canadian Comic Geek. And man oh man, there are a lot of comics this first week of November that you can easily walk into. Just wow. Wow. So I'm gonna end up putting, spoiler alert, I'm putting this to be a two-parter video. So I'm gonna review 6 comics this one, and the next episode will have the other 6. And I will have the description of what comics I am reviewing. So let's begin. Starting with a zero-in tie-in, which does not include Batman whatsoever. Issue 25 of Action Comics. And as you can see from the title, yeah, it is a 0-year tie-in, but this cover is very dark. I mean, it's not like it's colorful. I'm like, wow, this is not like your typical Superman cover whatsoever. Yeah, that's odd. But weirdly enough, this is like written by Greg Pak, and it's a really good Superman story. Well, let me explain. Well, for my opinion, I think the better Superman from out of New 52, the better Superman stories are the ones when he's just starting to be Superman. So basically, he has very limited powers. Like he's not super. He doesn't have like every possible power imaginable, and he's not perfect. He basically just has super strength and heat vision at best. And superhero anyway. And he's not wearing the traditional weird costume that he's currently wearing in comics. He's just wearing a shirt, jeans, and a cape. And yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine when if you haven't don't know about comics or you do know about Superman. This is laughingly funny. Oh man, I just laughed after I first saw that new costume. But anyway, it's not a bad story. Like yeah, there's no actual villain, but it works. But although that in the Batman zero year comic, well the event comic basically, the very first year of Batman, which why don't I just call it year one? Entirely, I have no clue because they're just ignoring the original year one out the window. Anyway, Bruce finally dons the Batman costume, and the Riddler turns off everything electronical all over Gotham. Yeah, now that's the frightening part. What they don't tell you is that there's a storm coming. Not just a storm, a superstorm. I'm not gonna give any hurricane jokes because that'd be just mean. So anyway, so yeah, a monstrous hurricane is coming, which does actually explain a lot during the earlier Batman comics. Anyway, basically you see Superman is like he's trying to stop a hurricane coming, and with all his power he can't exactly stop a force of nature. And throughout this comic, I actually like it. It makes that whole Jor-El speech of that humanity will eventually walk beside you kind of thing actually mean something here. Like this entire comic is actually the perfect example of what Jor-El is talking about near the end. I won't spoil too much. Also, a little fun fact that Superman is not just the main focus of the book. The other main focus is his ex-girlfriend from Smallville, Lana Lang. And before you start thinking Smallville, Lana Lang does not look like the Smallville Lana Lang. She looks more like the traditional Silver Age. So basically, yeah, it doesn't. You know what? You'll find out on your own. But yeah, it is actually not bad. Plus, there's like a second story to it, hence why it's $3.99 instead of $2.99. of just showing like what's coming next in Action Comics, which also focuses on Superman and Lana Lang at the same time. And I'm actually intrigued, even though the bad guy slash monster of upcoming issues I think is going to happen somewhat screams Fantastic Four. All in all, I'm really liking like Greg Pak when he's writing the early years of Superman. Basically shows he's not perfect, and it actually makes it quite an interesting story. Now we've shown a good story that Craig Pettis draws this week. Let's look at something that's not as good. Batman Superman, issue 5. Now, you're wondering why I'm holding this weirdly. No, I'm actually not. And it's not me trying to hold an argument or anything. This is basically how they printed the cover. So basically, yeah, there's like the logo right there and stuff. So yeah, like this is how normally like you have to buy it, but you have to read it like this. And if you think you know this is just a cover, oh man, I have to show you this. Like, it's basically like you know when you're reading a story and even if it's bad or good or just plain really like goofy, like it's so bad it's good kind of thing, and it sucks you into the story. Yeah, this doesn't. Like, yeah, you hold it like this, and I know you hold it like oh yeah, that's just the first page. No, it's every page. Every page is like this. You literally have to read it like this. Which, okay, not this ad, but everything else like this. Which, when you actually think about it, it looks like someone's reading a part and it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, it looks weird, and it kind of sucks the fun out of it, out of the story. But if you are interested in buying this issue because it's weirdly printed, and yeah, no, in all honesty, people would buy a misprint. It's hilarious. Example would be you have a character whose hair color is entirely different, while someone has the same issue, which the hair color is the same. Also, also one time a friend bought a manga where all the pages were upside down. So wow. Anyway, that's not the point here. I'm getting off tangent. But basically, the story, if you are interested in buying this issue, is kind of set near the present. Not the actual present, because Forever Evil's happening. No, this is like more close to it, because like they're in their more modern costumes, and Nightwing is still there. Yeah, and everyone doesn't know he's Dick Grayson, and you do see Metallo, who's not called Metallo, because he's only called that during Forever Evil. Although, like for here, I'm just like you can like it or you can hate it because this is good. Because this is a tad weird. Like it involves Metallo and Nightwing, but they're not actually there. Yeah, turns out there's some weird online video game where the whole premises of is basically killing Batman or beating him up, kind of thing. Seems like a very weird game to buy. Who would actually go like, yes, I finally got killed Batman. I'll take care of that cowl-wearing son of a bitch. No, it's just that's weird kind of thing. Of course, it's even weirder. Like near the beginning, Superman deals with asteroids, which he does take care of, but apparently a few very like seed-like pieces were able to get to the Earth, grow these weird plant-like weeds. I guess no one ever noticed. And it sprays with powder, which I'm going to say makes people not give a damn. I'm actually sugarcoating my swears here, so bear in mind. There's a little bit like AMV video called Not Give a F. Again, I'm sugarcoating my swears. And it's very hilarious, so I apologize if I'm somewhat ripping off their joke. Kind of thing. So yeah. Everyone's not give a damn. Man, I really hope you don't see Batman growing a mustache, Superman wearing sweatpants in public, and Jimmy Olsen masturbating to stolen cheese. Of course, he is in his underwear, so that does not actually happen. None of that actually happens. Thank God. It sounds like they want to give a middle finger to the audience. Of course, it is kind of weird because none of the actual online players, except for Toymaker, um, yeah, for Toymaker, if you had like better description, you've ever seen the animated Superman Batman Public Enemies movie? And there was like this little like kid who was really smart and he was called Toyman. Well, in the New 52, he's now called Toymaker. I guess because there's still another guy called Toyman. Whereas I just find out weird. Why would you name yourself after a villain? Okay. Anyway, yeah, like he was one who made the well, had the idea of the game, and basically had like all these contestants help him out trying to kill Batman without them actually realizing they're actually trying to kill Batman. Yeah, that although they do find out that actually just Toymaker does, and Batman find out it's actually real. And who's behind this plot? I'm gonna spoil this now. Bear in mind in case you don't really care about buying the issue. The villain is Mongol. Yeah, he finally makes an appearance. Well, except for that villain one shot, but let's not count that because really, like, it's just a villain issue. It's like this is actually his first appearance fighting a main one of the DC's like a team of heroes here. And basically, he has the most bizarre plan I've ever heard. Basically, he's behind the whole tricking video gamers into thinking it's all a video game, but really they're actually killing people, or not people, just trying to kill Batman. It's mostly because he had the idea of because he mostly does space gladiator type games. Um, here it's like he gets the idea. Is basically he's been like he says like he's been going through like Earth's communications, and he finds that video gamers are the most cruel and ruthless warriors he's ever seen. So when you simple this down, he's been watching two-player fighting combat let's plays on YouTube. So basically, he's watching Mortal Kombat or an online fighting game where basically characters just trolling each other. And again, I'm a little disappointed that even Superman knows what trolling is. Yet, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm just yammering on. It's not that good as the previous story arc that Craig Pak did, which is basically Superman, Batman in their early years teaming up for the first time, and also being their alternate counterparts. I know that last part makes no sense whatsoever, but bear in mind it's actually a much better read than this. Of course, it is going to be a two-parter because in January they're going to start a crossover with the comics world's finest, which I am excited for. But here it's like if you are intrigued to see a bad guy trying to use video games to destroy the heroes, yeah, pick it up. Whereas you're gonna get this is gonna be it's gonna take you out of the story the way you have to hold it sideways. It's weird. So yeah, there's that. Okay, next up we have another Zero-Year tie-in. And this time we finally have Batman in it. And it kind of works this way, although this is mostly kind of weird. Like, it's weird because this is from a series where they switch the main character after 19 issues. And most people probably drop that issue because of it. I know, it's kind of weird, and I'm still picking it up. I'll go first. The issue I'm talking about is issue 25 of Batwing. Now, here is not the original Batwing. He apparently retired because he couldn't handle it being Batwing. Sorry if I said Nightwing earlier. Man. Yeah, no, Batwing just like he retires because it kind of is messing up with his life, and he just couldn't handle it. So now there's the new Batwing, which is Luke Fox. Lucas Fox is his son. And I say this would have been a good for a a zero issue because this actually feels like a zero issue. So I guess it kind of works in its own way. It's a one-shot story, basically how like we see Luke as a teenager, like just learning all his moves as a professional fighter. Sorry, and basically like it's also showing like the origins of villain who's actually a close friend of his. I don't know if it's the villain name he came up with. I think we'll find out in later issues because it seems like one of those promising arch foes that basically it's either has a strong connection to the main character or it's something the main character has done and those are the best kind of villains of all kind of thing. You know, like how it's somewhat Batman's fault the Joker exists in a way. So yeah, this is actually quite intriguing. I actually enjoyed that issue, which is weird. No, it just if you want to see like what he was like before and how maybe Batman got like how maybe Batman noticed Luke, it's actually quite intriguing. So it's actually a pretty good must read if you're buying just tie-ins to Zero Year, or you're interested in knowing exactly who Batwing is before he becomes Batwing. Although personally, for me, his costume kind of reminds me of a heavily armored, sorry, not heavily, a heavy armored Black Panther. Think about it. Just remove just remove the bat symbol. Like take away all the parts that make it like it shows like yours the armor plating and the bolts, and basically you get Black Panther when you think about it. It's weird, but hey, it's actually quite intriguing. Although I kind of thinking now it's like couldn't you just renumber it back to 1 or something so that way it doesn't quite exactly screw over fans who would like the original Batwing and didn't, but don't really care for the new ones. So like in that way they can say their collection's complete. Anyway, next up, speaking of completing one's collection, by the way, this is the last issue to a series that weirdly enough grew on me after reading the first and second issue. I really love the writing. The art most of the time is good. And yeah, although the only downside to this issue is that it doesn't feel like a last issue, which is weird because you know this is how they end the series, but they're planning on renewing it, which the series actually had good ratings. So I'm thinking to myself, if everyone's loving the series, why the hell are you renewing it? It's the same writer who's doing it too. That's the weird thing. Yeah, the issue I'm talking about, issue 17. Sorry, issue 17 of Captain Marvel. Now, this is actually a much better continuation to its previous story arc, The Enemy Within, where basically, and surprise, surprise, is basically Captain Marvel, in order to save the city and stop the bad guy, she basically had to lose most of her memories. Sad, really. Although I have to say that, like, it's kind of feels much better than the tie-ins that the previous 2 issues for Captain Marvel, which was basically part of the Infinity story arc, which I guess takes place after Infinity, I guess. But yeah, no. Now that I think about it now, yeah, no, the Infinity tie-ins does explain a bit more. It's just I feel like this one has a much better continuation because they do pick up, kind of mention, like, the Enemy Within story arc, going like, oh man, there was that alien city that almost flattened us. So basically, yeah, they're giving a medal for her for that. Like, yeah, she's getting the key to the city for saving New York and everything. Yeah, at the same time trying to, well, pick up the pieces and figure, like, what to do next with her life, because she's been through a lot. Carol Danvers, yeah, that's Captain Marvel's real name, who was once known as Miss Marvel, she went through so much crap. You can find out why on Wiki, but still, man, this is just adding on the list of things that goes wrong with her life. Like, she loses her powers, she regains her powers, gets raped and gives birth to her rapists. Yeah, that last part is it's weird. She becomes an alcoholic, loses and gains new and old powers, and finally her memory. Like, that totally sucks. It totally sucks for her. No, but that part I do like, that she's trying to pick up the pieces, and she has friends and loved ones who are actually willing to help out, and are like, this is actually kind of like a really good story. Although there are parts in it that kind of annoy me. I know it's kind of weird because I love the series. It's just this kind of felt more of a Superman story rather than a Captain Marvel story. Yeah, no, I know that sounds weird. Don't if you don't believe me, here are some examples. The new villain, her name is Grace Valentine. Yeah, sorry, screw that last name. Yeah. Where basically she becomes very successful, but she gets pissed off that that people are paying more attention to Captain Marvel rather than her. She's pretty much Lex Luthor, except, well, the opposites, which is basically being like having hair for one, like having hair, a woman, and black, and she's black. So yeah, like appearance-wise, it's a complete opposite of Lex Luthor. But she pretty much has a Lex Luthor type personality. I apologize if my description of Grace is racist. I apologize on that. I didn't mean to. It's just like she really went out of her way, sent robots to try and destroy Captain Marvel. Even went out right and called her an alien. If that doesn't scream, "I am a Lex Luthor ripoff," I don't know what does. And also, J. Jonah Jameson, who's mayor in the Marvel Universe and no longer the editor-in-chief of the Daily Bugle, who goes on and on how Spider-Man stinks and how it's almost every hero's fault, all the crap that happens in New York. Which really does explain Spider-Man if you're parroting him. But anyway, yeah, he acts a little out of character, but it's okay. Yeah, the ending is kind of weird. Well, not weird, like how some things work out for her in the end seems weird to me. But other than that, it's actually a really good issue. It's not a good last issue, but an issue that's a transition to the new series, or two new series, as I've recently read. They're not just reviving Captain Marvel, but introducing a new series called Miss Marvel, who is basically this teenager who can fly and has somewhat shape-shifting abilities. And I've seen her designs. It looks freaking awesome. I'm actually intrigued and gotta go out of my way and buying the first issue to see if it's any good. Alright. We got through Captain Marvel. Now let's move on to something from another Marvel universe, known as Cataclysm, the Ultimate's Last Stand. Yeah, I got the standard cover, which doesn't look quite as impressive as the variant. And if you've been and basically we finally get to the story of Galactus is on Earth after going through two pre-stories. And I'm calling them pre-stories. Okay, the prequels in a sense. Like there was the Hunger where Galactus came to the Ultimate Marvel universe, and basically space heroes tried to stop them when he got when he got uber powerful, which is basically they brought him back to square one. And they had the 0.1 issue where the Vision tried to stop him, but now she's dead. Yeah, that's not gonna go well for. In fact, man, he causes so much destruction. Like New Jersey, gone. Yep, New Jersey is gone. It's pretty much he's using all of his power to basically energize and destroy everything in his path. And you see, like, Ultimate Spider-Man, and basically which leads to these other, mini-series, which are tie-ins to Cataclysm, which I'm actually intrigued of reading all of them, because I like to know, does the Ultimate Marvel Universe survive? Because so far, after reading this issue, It doesn't look like they stand a chance. This literally looks like the end for it all. Which is kind of disappointing because I'm a huge Ultimate Marvel fan. Ah. I actually like know how they're gonna get out of this one, and it's gonna be really intriguing because so far just this is like your standard setup. If you have not like setup story, like who the characters are and whatnot, and if you've not been paying attention to the 0 Point issue of Cataclysm and the Hunger miniseries, which is actually fine. Is that you don't really need to read those to enjoy this book. It actually makes you want to know what happens next. Plus, then there's the miniseries, but I think it actually paints a slightly bigger picture. But who knows about that? All right. Let's see. How many comics have we gone through here? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. It's gonna be the last comic for this video, and I will have the next video set up in the moment after I upload this one. So I'll just be done in just a jiffy. So basically, last issue for this video is also another 0-year tie-in. Of course, now after reading it, it's actually quite exciting, and, well, basically, yeah, it does have Batman in it. You can't have exactly a Batman tie-in without him, although it kind of works for Superman, I guess. Batman's not exactly the main focus. Okay, yeah, he's part of it, but he's not the main character. And I really kind of wish this for future future issues, having this guy as the main character, because I think it works more for the series. I know this sounds weird, and I have not revealed the title yet. And here it is, if you want to know, if you are wondering, what the heck is Ian talking about? It's issue 25, again, because this is DC, and they renewed everything, of Detective Comics. And as you can see, like, on center stage, like, this looks like an awesome movie poster. Like, for an action series. It's weird, but it looks freaking awesome. Like, so yeah, main character is Jim Gordon. So yeah, he's really young, does not have the grays. And I really like this. I'm like, after I finished reading it, and it does, besides being a tie-in, it also shows another story, which actually kind of relates to what happens in the tie-in. But also it leads up to the Man-Bat story, which actually is very exciting, kind of thing for me, because they've kind of been like putting mini stories in there about like Man-Bat and his wife, who becomes like woman bat, which is anyway. You know, it's like, after reading this, I'm going like, why doesn't Gordon just have his own series? Why not just give him Detective Comics? This pretty much screams detective noir here. Like, well, like, for the early years, because it shows Jim Gordon, and, like your typical, like, this is when Batman's starting in Gotham. Yeah, police are corrupt. Horribly, horribly corrupt. And I kind of like this. Of course, I think because of Batman Arkham Origins, that kind of has the characters you might recognize. Like, yeah, the bad guy that Jim Gordon was trying to put away behind bars was Black Mask. Before he starts wearing the mask. Well, no, he has a mask fixation. It's just like when he finally got caught, he escapes and actually starts wearing a mask for realsies, instead of just having his own henchmen wear the same particular mask, saying, "Oh man, it's the Black Mask gang." And there's a few things of weird designs because most of the characters somewhat have the same body types. And it's weird because you see Commissioner Loeb, the previous commissioner, and he's not as corrupt or that much of a jackass when you read him in this issue. Like, if you've seen Batman Year One, yeah, or Batman Arkham Origins, which is a great game, by the way, you see Commissioner Loeb being like this, he's somewhat shorter than Commissioner Gordon. Like, he's shorter than most cops, slightly pudgy. He's pudgier, and yeah, and you know he is in league with the criminals. Like, he is that corrupt. Here he's not, he might be a bit corrupt, not sure. Like, he's tall as Jim Gordon, he has the same hairstyle, but he's like everyone's younger, so it's weird. It's kind of weird because like everyone's younger now, so I'm like, I guess one of the turnoffs for DC's New 52. Although, uh, I really do actually like this now because like Commissioner Loeb, he doesn't realize like most of the cops are corrupt until like Gordon actually comes in with evidence on who's in league with Black Mask, and he actually feels like he literally feels bad because he didn't because if he didn't do anything or didn't show any protection or anything, all the like he felt so, like by the end of it all, he felt bad that he did so poorly at his job. He called it quits, but he gave Commissioner Gordon the job because he thinks he can do a much better job than him, which I actually think it seems like a better idea for me, kind of thing. Because it doesn't quite show the Commissioner being that corrupt and that evil. But other than that, I would pick this up even if you haven't been reading Zero Year because it makes you a fan of Jim Gordon. Plus, it also makes you want to read what happens next afterward. But still, this is mostly a Jim Gordon story. And man, like, it makes me want to say this, DC. Make a series on just Jim Gordon. I guarantee you people will buy this. Like, even if you have to cancel one of the other series, don't know which one, I bring in Jim Gordon or have him take over one of the series. I guarantee again, I guarantee he is that interesting a character. People will buy issues for about the guy. And thank you all for watching part 1. I will have part 2 ready very soon with the next 6 issues. So I will see you in the next video. So long, farewell, and happy reading.